Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold. Well, I'm doing this on a Saturday. Or at least finished it up on a Saturday. I've been working on it for probably a week, but everything's going lovely here. Nobody's got a virus, and I've been going back to practice for the past week, and everything's working really good. So all we need now is for the guys to decide to start having the steel challenge again, which I imagine will be another month yet. They're pretty reluctant to do anything risky. Alright, today's project is to make a larger, much more long-lasting dessicant container to dry my air for all of the uses that I do here in the shop. The little cup full of dessicant that you can buy, you know, in the tiny little regulator looking thing, it lasts all day, you know, and then you got to regenerate it. I'm hoping to get a week or two out of what I'm building, and I got the idea from a young lady that's got a channel. I think it's called Hannah's Projects. I'll look it up and try to put it down there, you know, but she did a good job of building a nice air dryer, and I'm going to copy it mostly. I use a few little parts different, but mostly the same. Okay, so let's just get right on with it. Alright, so what's going to fit into this thing? What are all the pieces? I'll show you here. This one probably doesn't count. That's an extra. You got here a little whip like goes on the bottom of your air tool. It's going to go from the compressor to the dessicant chamber, and it has a couple of bushings. Let me get it unscrewed here. There's a couple of bushings. I got a bushing 3/4 to half and a half to 3/8 bushing screwed together there. Alright, and they're going to fit into this guy right here, who's on this side. Alright, on this side I've got some pipe that's going to go in there. It's going to go through this guy. I've got to cut out that little, there's a little lip down in there that I've got to cut out. Okay, this will go on the end of the pieces sticking out, and this bushing, half to 3/8 bushing, will screw into there. Now we'll open this guy up. Inside we've got a pipe, 1/2-inch pipe with an elbow. I've got to drill holes in this. And this cap will go on the bottom of that pipe. And this is a 4-way thingus. We'll pour the dessicant in there. Got an end with a cap. It goes in there. Alright. And on the bottom here, we've got a cap to unscrew to drop the wet dessicant out. He's going to be glued onto the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to take my camera and review this and see if that made any sense, if I got everything on camera, because I didn't watch to see. And then we'll continue to go on by drilling holes in that little guy. Alright, I'm going to use that tiny little drill bit, smaller than an 1/8 inch, to drill holes. I've drawn some lines there to sort of guide me, sort of suggestions. And I've got twice as many lines as I need, because when I go through one side, I'll just keep on drilling through the other side. So I only need half that many lines, but you know, when you're drawing lines, you get carried away. But that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just do the dull, boring, drill one, move it, drill one, move it kind of stuff. Alright, the holes are drilled, and as you can see, there's a gob of melted plastic. Between every row I had to stop and peel off the plastic. Now I'll have to go and, and sand all that off, because it's just, you know, ragged melted pieces sticking out. And I didn't make any real super attempt to stay on the lines or anything, or stay evenly spaced. So it's not really Randy Richard right, but it's going to flow air. When you have a home shop, not only are you in charge, but you get to do all the work that gets done. And I've got this little valve that was on the cylinder head of my Horror Freight air compressor, and it's just blowing air like crazy, and it won't let me build any pressure up. I don't know if that means that it's bad, or if there's something else wrong somewhere else, but I'm going to try to take it apart. I've got these snap ring pliers, which I paid a huge price for back in the 70s or 60s, and now you can buy them for about $6 or $10 or something like that at Horror Freight. And I know I paid more than that way back then when it was real money. So anyway, I got to pull this snap ring out of there. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's right there. And try to figure out why this thing's blowing air. I'll get back to you. Alright, now if I was watching Mr. Pete take this thing apart, I would want to know what's in there. So what's in there is there's an O-ring down there in the bottom. I don't know if you can see it. There's an O-ring in there. And there was a spring in there. And the spring goes around this guy right here, just like that. And of course, this little snap ring, I don't know, you can call it an E-ring, whatever. They don't call things the same as they used to. All that was in there. Alright, so I had to buy this whole dang roll of screen material. You get this little bit of screen here that I need for the project. That's a tough break, but there. It wasn't, you know, earth-shattering. It was about $8, but and I discovered something as the demographics change, the language changes, and the word screen wire is well, it doesn't mean anything anymore. Now it's something else, you know, but it's just one of those things that old guys have to deal with when they go to the hardware store, I guess, or wherever, is that there's a new generation there and they don't speak your language. So let's get on with putting this little cap on here, and then we'll wrap that screen, it's not really wire anyway, it's plastic, around here and fasten it down. I've got some super glue, which I went off and left upstairs. That's a smart move, huh? Alright, let me get some more stuff and we'll wrap that up. Alright, so I'm just going to wrap this wire around this thing, and this I stand corrected, this screen material I'm going to wrap around this thing, and I think that should be enough of it to keep the catalyst from managing to get through, even though it doesn't matter a great deal if the catalyst does escape from this thing, because downstream of it is going to be the old dessicant filter, and anything that comes out of this one is going to wind up trapped in the new one. So, you know, it's not like an end of the world crisis. Whoa, drop that little bit. I guess it seems to me like as you get older, you get dumber, and you get more careless, and less, well, just less, I guess. But that's neither here nor there. You're going to do it or not. You don't have to get older, but I've seen few people choose not to. Alright, now then I'm going to trim these pieces off. I got to get a pair of side cutters. Dikes we used to call them. I don't know what they're called now. God only knows. And then I'll get some glue and we'll stick the bottom on this thing. How about that? Alright, so I snipped off the long pieces and got the cap. I'm going to glue it and slide it on there. If I can get this can open. Take a nap while I go get something to open the can. Like I said, as you get older, you get weaker and dumber. So anyway, here we go. A pair of channel locks will open practically anything. Or maybe wipe out practically anything. Depends on how you want to look at it. Alright, this ought to slide right on there. Doesn't have to go a long ways, but just getting on there is good. That sure feels cold on your fingers. Alright, so now that that's on there, we're going to leave it alone for a little bit and let it dry. What I'm going to do while that glue is drying, I've got this guy here, and if you'll see, there's a lip down in there, and I want to shove the pipe clean through there. So I'm going to go around the lathe and just cut this little bit out, you know, so that a 1/2 inch piece of plastic pipe will go through it. Alright? I got the lathe oiled up and ready to go. A little boring tool in there, and we'll just cut out that little bit in the middle. Well, there's a lump right there that I've got to get over. Right there. Okay, so we're back over here with that hole cut open. And I guess, just to be absolutely certain, we can try shoving this little pipe through it. Oh, it doesn't want to go through. Ooh, it really doesn't. Okay, you guys hang loose while I try and think on this. Okay, so now what I've done, I took this pipe here and I took it back to the lathe and stuck it in there and sanded down a good portion of it there so it'll slide through here easier, which I didn't sand enough of it because it doesn't slide easy. This is the maximum amount I want up in there. So what I'll do is I'll glue this, set it over on the vise over there and whack it a couple of times to make it go in there. As you can see, this that's as far as that guy goes in there, and this guy does touch it already at that point. So I expect another 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch in, and I'll be in as far as I need to go. Okay, and I don't know, I'll try to turn the camera around that way. Alright, I'm hoping the glue slicks it up enough to make it go in really easier than it's going. We'll see. We can do nothing but lose, huh? That's the worst that could happen, is we could have a lose here instead of a win. Alright, let's go for it. I think that's done the job. I don't see any glue coming out the other side, but then that's not necessarily a virtue. Alright, let me get things moved back over to the other spot. So while I was moving the camera over here, I took the opportunity to squeeze the most of a tube of super glue on my screen material. I don't know that the beads could get in those holes, but Hannah put it on hers, and I thought, well, hers works, right? So that's a pretty convincing argument right there. Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.